Yeah, hi, it's Herb again. This is part two of using openCV thresholding with Python inside Lianja. Now, the beauty of Lianja and the advantage that it has over using IntelliJ or using Qt is that it's fully database aware. So not only can you easily get it in and out of your database, um, it also has the ability to create a full-blown desktop app as you're creating it and a web app also. So here we had our images, and I've loaded a bunch of them into the database. So I'll load a couple more by clicking on this Save DB button. Now let's have a look at the code in the in this Save button. We can go up to the code editor. I can go right down to the click event. So I've created a variable called ttype, which gets you again using the Lianja object model, right? We go ahead and we get the value we want. And of course, I make it a string because remember when I set up the database, I set up with a string. By the way, I added another field to the database as a blob. It was an image field. We need to store the image. Okay, so then I get the value of the second slider. Again, straightforward. It's in line. I get the page, the section, the object, and then the value. And then I could use something called Lianja.execute. Lianja lives inside of this Python scripting, or the Python's inside the Lianja world actually, just like PHP is, just like JavaScript is, just like VFP scripting is. You can use these same commands interchangeably in any one of these languages and the other languages that are coming up to be included in Lianja as well. So here I'm going to use a regular straightforward insert statement. Okay, remember we created our table before. So it's going to be fields, values. Very straightforward. We're going to put the date time and the types, and that's what we're putting in the image. All right, so that's all well and good. So we come back here and we can kind of, oh, sorry, we're not in there yet. Let's build the page. So this is page one. Let's build another page where we can view our data. Okay, we'll build a blank page, call it page two. What we're going to do in Lianja, it's extraordinarily easy to create forms and canvases and everything else you may need. You just take your database fields and you drag them on, and it knows what to do with them, and it knows that this is an image field, so it's going to size it properly. All right, well, that's good. Now, let's put a little grid in there. We'll go section. We'll put a grid, and we'll take the runtime field, the type field, and the value field. What we can do here is we can now deploy it. So what we'll do is we'll save the application. We'll come down to deploy. We're going to make sure that we select our project. So the project is Lianja CV, and inside that project, you've got your databases and you've got your applications. So it goes from project. We're going to go tell the deploy workspace here to go ahead and find me all the files that are part of this project. Now push them to the web server. Yes. Let's look at the bottom. Deployment completed with warnings. Okay. So let's do this. Let's close the application and let's deploy that again. Now to push it to the field. Successful. All right. I hadn't closed the application before I tried to deploy it. Let's go back into our applications. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to say preview that for me inside of the app. It's like a preview, like a web preview. And I see it's in here. I see page one, and I see my other pages available. Great. I'm going to say let's push it out. Show it to me in the web, and that's what it does. So this is now running in a web browser. We've deployed it to the web by that one click. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, let's go to my section two, and there I have my images. And if you look at it, not so clean, right? It's a little crowded up here. Not a problem. Let's fix that. Let's clean it up a little bit. We'll go back into our application. We'll go back into page two. And we'll say, you know what? This last section, let's stretch it out. Easy enough. Go to stretch last section. Done. Okay. Let's save that. Let's close the application. Let's go back to our deploy. Make sure that the correct project is there. Gather up the files. Deploy to the web server. Easy as that. Completed successfully. Fantastic. Let's go back into our app. Let's go back into preview, which brings up this preview screen. and now we'll say show it to us from the actual web browser. Going out to the web browser. Let's go to page 2. Oh, much nicer. So now as I step through it, you'll see the images and everything's working. And it tells me, okay, this is the time we did it. That's the type it was, the value. So for further use, the point is you can build robust applications very easily in Lianja because it ties in all many different technologies into a single world that lets you do database, mobile, web, everything you want to do in one interface, one area. So this is just one part that I'm showing using openCV, using Python, creating web and mobile and desktop applications. All right, hope you enjoyed it. It's Herb.